window pane. Never did look past that rain.
You looking out a wet window pane. Too many raindrops hitting. Never did look past that rain. But there's a rainbow in it. Trust yourself and get with it. Stuck in hell is in living. Stick to the movement. This isn't you. Just let the past burn out its finish. Goodbye. Cause we ain't waiting. Nothing will be wasted. Hands to the sky. The Lord knows I'm praying. Everybody gets down. Everyone's met Satan. But when he greets you, remember where you came from. Rich or poor, no matter the color. Take your heart from the fight and love one another. Cause it's hard seeing life right without peace and comfort. Open up your eyes, we all the same color. You looking out a wet window pane. Too many raindrops hitting. Never did look past that rain. But there's a rainbow in it. Trust yourself and get with it. Stuck in hell is in living. Stick to the movement. This isn't you. Just let the past burn out its finish. What is love? You can't find it with hatred. Without an answer, this cancer finds a patient. If we look past it, nothing changes. One more casket for the nation. We ain't trying to live like this. We ain't trying to live in fear. One mom at a funeral. One more dead and it's real. Let go, put down the guns, put down the drugs. Look away from the negative. Life can be positive. Strike out the opposite. Tell the man with the badge to stop popping it. Put you right in your place with a mic to escape. Only we can turn on this switch. It starts with the right choices. From a life only we can choose to live. You looking out a wet window pane. Too many raindrops hitting. Never did look past that rain. But there's a rainbow in it. Trust yourself and get with it. Stuck in hell is in living. Stick to the movement. This isn't you. Just let the past burn out its finish. Goodbye.
It's recording.
Okay. And we're both in the chairs, you can see.
Yeah, got a little bit of sun in my face, but that's okay.
Okay.
You can see the gray in my beard real well, right?
Yeah. We're back. It's been over a week, right, since we did our last video. I was sick last week. I'm still kind of in the recovery process. But I lost my voice last Tuesday, so it's finally coming back somewhat.
Yeah.
So we were waiting
for that. Thought we'd, because we wanted to do a video here in front of the sunflower garden. So, as you saw in the beginning of this video, we were prepping the garden. And it's now a couple months later, and the sunflowers have all grown.
They love their new home.
Yeah.
We had them in a smaller area, which we'll show you when we get to the end of the video.
Yeah, we'll show you a little bit where it was. But
yeah,
they were over by the house. It's much nicer here because now you can enjoy the sunflowers when you drive up to the house.
Yeah, we can actually see them, so more people will be able to see them, at least on our street, right?
Yeah. Yep.
We're technically in the county, so it's a little quieter where we live.
And I still have to do the gopher story because we did have issues keeping the gophers out, but I think we got them under control. So.
We'll share the gopher story when we do some more homesteading. We're going to be taking a tree out and putting another tree in, so that'll probably be our next video.
I don't know if you wonder, but you might wonder why we do the sunflowers. We've been doing it for a few years. I think I'm going to let Amy.
Well, you jump in too.
I'll jump in, but I'm going to let her tell most of the story.
Okay. Well, we started the sunflowers the first year that we planted sunflowers. We actually planted them in Montana, and that was in 2019. So some of you might already know, but probably a lot of you don't know, we lost our son Christian in 2018 to suicide. He died by suicide. And about 9 months before he passed away, he had told me that he wanted to get a tattoo on his neck, right?
Yeah, Amy didn't want his face covered up.
Yeah, well, he did have tattoos on his face too, but he wanted to get one done, and I said, okay, and then he told me where he was going to have it placed, and that he thought he would do a sunflower, because he knew that the sunflower is one of my favorite flowers, and so that was what he chose, and I thought that was great. Tried to talk him into putting it maybe somewhere less visible, but that didn't work. He did have a tattoo on his jawline that said, look past the rain, and then he had the sunflower put underneath.
Yeah. Which I'll bring it up because you guys heard the song Look Past the Rain in the beginning. He was a musician, aspiring rap star.
Yeah, rap artist.
Very good at writing and his music, and he had that song Look Past the Rain, so I shared that in the beginning of the video. So that's who wrote that song that you guys listened to.
And so that was him, rapping the song, and we were able to put together an album. Again, these are things we can talk about later, but that was his favorite song.
Yeah, he never got to get his album done, but we finished that.
Yeah.
As a tribute to him.
And his video he was getting ready to do in April. He was waiting for it to rain so he could do his video, and unfortunately it didn't rain before he passed away. So yeah, it rained after.
So the
lot of rain.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the sunflowers are a tribute to Christian and his mom, and
the sunflower for me is, I feel like that's a connection that I have with Christian, because he chose the sunflower as a tribute to me. Then planting sunflowers every year is a way of me, honoring him and his memory. And I think sunflowers are a happy, positive flower, and even though what happened with Christian is a tragedy, that wasn't his life. He had his struggles, but he was a bright light in our lives and in everyone I think he came into contact. He was very positive and remembered so much for his smile and his laugh.
Yeah.
And his goofiness.
Yeah, he was goofy.
So, but like I said, we started the sunflowers in Montana on his 1-year anniversary of his passing.
We put him down at the river.
Yeah, in Missoula, the Clark Fork River.
And they did very well.
We,
with
his
no
sister,
supervision. Or did she?
Huh?
Was there no supervision?
No. Well, we did. She met somebody after she was still in Montana, and I'd come back to Arizona, and she ran into somebody down at the river, Lewis, and
Christian's sister.
Yeah, Christian's sister Danielle. And she had come out on the anniversary, and we planted the sunflowers. She had started growing them in Washington and brought them over in just little pots, and we planted them in the sand close to the river and left. We didn't know how they'd do, but she had run into somebody who saw them later. I think it was later, like after they were still growing. They ended up, that was in May 5th we planted them, and then in August, like later August, we were there too. Mm-hmm. And she was the first one to go to the river and discovered that they had actually grown, and beautiful sunflowers. I mean, there were reds and yellows. I mean, the colors were amazing. But after we flew back, or drove back, probably drove back to Arizona she ran into Lewis, and he was down at the river and had noticed the flowers, and he's a photographer, so he had actually been photographing the sunflowers. So she was able to tell him the story of the Sunflowers for Christian, and he said that he would harvest seeds. Danielle was able to get seeds too in September, and then he also got seeds and sent them to her. So then the following year, that's when we planted him here in Arizona. So these sunflowers, some of them are newer, but most of them probably they're generations now. We have like every year.
Just keep collecting the seeds
and replanting, and I've given seeds to people. And I mean, my vision still would be to be able to start sending them to people, and then seeing all the sunflowers growing all around the world, maybe, who knows. I might as well think big, but they really are beautiful sunflowers. I do have a Facebook sunflower page, Sunflowers for Christian, and so if you're a lover of sunflowers like I am, you can go on there and see pictures that I posted from every year since. So from 2019, and then from then on out, we've been planting. So
so that's pretty much the story of our sunflowers, our sunflower journey.
Yep. And trying to think if there's anything else.
Well, I'll show you some pictures of where they were. But
we'll take you over.
They've done well here.
We had them in a really small area. I probably right now I may have
to give you context,
70 plus in this area. Okay.
I'm going to turn this camera up.
And you saw the video when we were planting how there was nothing. So they are thriving here.
So stand next to that really tall one. To give you context to how tall these are.
And I actually made a little path in here so I can step in here. It was really hard before. But see, I can actually come all the way in here. And so this kind of shows you they're doing great.
Yeah.
And this one, I'm thinking tomorrow morning, you can see it's starting to open, but I'm hoping by tomorrow it'll be, in the next day or two, it's going to just get more and more open. So it's exciting. I always get excited for the first sunflower.
Show you that.
And then you can show my little path. I need more stepping stones, but the idea was to be able to walk all the way in, and then it stops here so I could get all the way around and I'll be able to get some, hopefully as they keep growing. Some of them are already getting flowers and they're not really tall, but I'm hoping to be able to get some really nice pictures because I can get right in here. Normally I have to get a ladder, and
you may still have to get a ladder.
Yeah, I still will. But I'll show you the spot where they were. And then I also planted wild sunflowers. These are Maximilians. I guess they're a little more wild, and they're perennials.
Adjust the light. Hold on 1 second.
Okay. And you guys come out because you've been peeing on them. Iris, out. See, they've been trampling them. These grow like weeds. Once they're established, they'll spread, and the dogs have helped thin them out a little this year, and we've been really having we've had a heat wave. Last week it was up to I think 105.
They'll get so tall that it's hard to get in here. Here's our water system, and they'll get so tall it's actually hard to get in there.
Yep. And then over here, it used to, the fence, we moved some of that fencing. It used to just be from right here to this corner, and then it went down, and I didn't have a lot of room between my clothesline, and it just came down and over. And as you can tell, the ground, it doesn't even look very good. So we went to quite a bit of work to prep that.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I'm going to show that we did to help keep the birds, because we do have the yellow finches and they love the sunflowers. They'll eat the leaves. They'll of course eat the seeds, and I do save seeds for the birds. I leave some of them. And then the other thing that we've done is we put in a little barrier. So we have a bird bath here, and I usually fill it. I usually have to fill it once a day because it's pretty hot.
Yeah,
now.
it needs it right now. It's getting a little
Yep,
low.
it is. I'll fill it up when I water tonight, which I'm about ready to water. And then we also, well, Mike just rigged this up because I wanted it farther out because I think the squirrels, there's a squirrel that's living around here, and I think he's been eating the bird seed too.
But yeah, the bird seeds are really good because it draws, the birds would rather have the bird seeds than the leaves of the
a lot
sunflower.
easier for them to get to that.
So this is our irrigation system we're putting right here.
Yep. So, woo, I'm getting wet. That's okay. The only thing I've been noticing is this corner over here. I feel like because they're getting fallen, this one's maybe not. Oh, it looks pretty good actually.
No, I think it's still
No,
good.
it's good.
It still gets the
But see,
ground.
it's really nice. I think this is why they're doing so well because, I mean, look at that. That is like a little rainforest in there.
Yeah.
So, and that's kind of the routine. I turn the water on in the morning for about 30 minutes and then in the evening for about 30 minutes. And it seems to be working well. So this is my Sunflowers for Christian.